Hi guys, JP from FSiPanel. Welcome to this new video. Today we are going to do something new on FSiPanel 2020 Advanced Edition. We are going to fly a long-haul sectors from New York Kennedy to London Heathrow. I got contacted by Captain Jeff, known as FatherTime. He is a very experienced captain, just retired from American Airlines on the 777. He basically flew anything that American Airlines has in stock. So basically the MD-80, 737, 757, 767. He then went to the A300, if that was not enough, the MD-11, and finally retired on the 777-300, 200 and 300. So he contacted me and he said, we are missing something here. We would like to train on Oceanic procedure flying over the pond, basically crossing the Atlantic. And he sent me a lot of information from American Airlines, from his own experience. And this is the flight that he flew many times. So this is the American Airline 142, departing Kennedy in the morning and arriving in Europe late afternoon. So basically we cannot use the NAT track for that because the NAT track are designed for late afternoon when all the airlines are flying eastbound over the Atlantic, but we will use random routing today. And the procedure is exactly the same. Basically, you have an entry point, then you have your coordinates over the Atlantic, and you have the exit point. Of course, it's an ETOPS flight as well. The 777 is a 3 hours ETOPS qualified, so we'll see that as well. The idea here is not to make a very, very detailed video, but it's to guide you how to fly this training scenario. And you can use it as well to prepare for the upcoming event from VATSIM Cross the Pond, which will be eastbound as well. So you can use this training scenario to get familiar with the procedure. FSiPanel 2020 Advanced Edition has now a CPDLC window. You will see that in action in a couple of minutes, where you can request your clearance. And be careful, you can get some deviation from whatever you filled. So this is to train you and to make sure that you know how to fly over the Atlantic. So we are going to see that all together today. You will have chapter if you want to move ahead on the video, and if you don't want to wait, then just go ahead and use the chapter to move to the section you want to go. Before I forget, please subscribe to the channel, and let's jump in the cockpit and see the lesson plan first, and then we will start right away. So let's go in the cockpit of this beautiful 777-300ER. All right, here we go in the cockpit. We are in our 777, and FSiPanel has already set the cockpit for us. So everything has been set when you launch the training scenario. Your FMC is set, your cockpit is set. You're basically just ready to start your engine and start your flight. So before we go and start this transatlantic flight, let me show you the comprehensive lesson plan that you will get with that scenario. So this is what you will get as a documentation. So we're going to have all the key feature, and on this scenario you have to be very careful on one thing. You have to make sure that you are flying with voice and text option in FSiPanel setup scenario. Why? Because we are going to give you tips along the route, and your SELCAL or CPDLC will be on the screen. So make sure you have voice and text activated on the setup scenario. That's the first thing. Second thing that you have to be very careful, you can see it down here. Do not import any winds into the FMC. As this is a long flight, if you fly with the, let's say, live weather, you might have different wind than the wind used during the scenario. So then you will have some problem when you do fuel check, and that will not make the experience as complete as it can be if you just fly with the actual winds from the weather file. As well, we are going to have two weather files today. We are going to have the file FSI AAL142 part 1. This is the departure weather file that you have to set in your simulator, and midway you will get a notification to change to part 2, as unfortunately the weather in London is not the same as in New York. So that's the new things. And we're going to have a window called the CPDLC window that will appear. So make sure you check all your screen if you have multi-monitor, and that screen will open and will let you request your Oceanic clearance. So we are starting today in Kennedy, Concourse B, Gate 47. You will see that later on where exactly it is. And you can see the ATC routes. This is the route of an actual American Airlines flight 142. So with random routing, entry point RECAL, and then we have the ATC clearance here, the waypoints to the exit point Etari Moglo. Then the route, ATC route Oceanic is right there. Then the weather, as you can see for London, 8,000 meters, showers of rain, scattered cloud 3,000, broken 5,000. So it's rainy, but don't worry about the weather. For British people, this is nice weather, in fact. Just a bit of rain, and there is no trap on the weather. So do not worry about the weather. I do not trap. The idea here is not to trap you with the weather. The weather is good on any alternate, even en route alternate. The idea is just to learn the procedure here. There is no times today. And basically, that's about it. Now you can see the rest. We're going to have the clearance for taxi. We are right now at the concourse C47. This is the gate. And we are going to push east to get exit via Tango Alpha. And then we taxi the airplane all the way around the terminal here to join taxiway Bravo, all short of Kilo. And we are departing from 31 left. All right. After that, you will see that we have a normal departure. We just follow the ATC instructions. Then we are going to have the ATC entry point. 30 minutes before, you will get a notification. As per VATSIM, we need to contact Gander 30 minutes before entry points to request or Oceanic clearance. So this is what we will do here with that new window. And you will see that if you do any mistake into the form, then you will not get your clearance. So you have to be very careful there and make sure you check the clearance when you receive it, because you might have some little difference like flight level, MAC number, or even the coordinates en route random can be different. So make sure you check that. After that, after the entry point, we are going to do a SELCAL check with Gander. So you will see that. Then we will see the VHF radio setup during Oceanic. We're going to have the SLOP procedure, which is Strategic Lateral Offset Procedure. So this will be used to make sure to avoid a collision. So we use that in the in Africa as well and over the Oceanic. 1 or 2 miles to the right on the 777. So it's up to you if you want to go 1 mile right or 2 miles right. But remember, you always go right. Okay, so we have some information here for you to read. We have the Scork 2000 procedure as well, which will be a tip and a reminder. Then we have the Oceanic contingency procedures. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but this is what you will do in case you lose an engine, in case you lose cabin pressurization, and you need to deviate from your actual track. So basically here, what is important is to get away from the track 5 miles to the right or to the left, and try to minimize your altitude, stay at the same altitude, and then once you're established on the 5 nautical miles offset, you can descend or climb 500 feet and then continue. So it's all described here, and Captain Jeff will make another video. You can see, we have the link here in the description, in the lesson plan, where you can see a lot of information about the contingency procedures. And then finally, approaching 30 west, we are going to get a CPDLC call with a frequency, and we make a SELCAL check with Shanwick, and that's about it. Now you are back on the other side of the ocean, ready to make your approach in London. One as well important point, is to make sure you cancel the SLOP once you are back in out of the Oceanic airspace. So this you will get as well a reminder. And then you have the approach and landing in London, where you're going to have a constant descent angle. So they want you to make a constant descent in London most of the time. So here you will be cleared for an ILS27 left via Bovingdon transition. So this is normally already in your box, so you don't have to worry about that. And that's about it. And some more information there. And at the end, for your reference, you have the flight plan. So make sure that you are flying with pounds. So imperial unit, because American Airlines is flying with imperial unit, of course, in pounds. So all the fuels check have to be done in pounds, right? Check. So 125 tons, 125,000 pounds, will be loaded on your aircraft by FSiPanel. And then you'll be able to check everything on the route here to make your fuel check. We're going to have the Oceanic clearance, very important right there. This is the one you want to copy paste later on and put it in your CPDLC window. You can take it from here or from above in the lesson plan. And we're going to have as well some important information down here concerning the ETOPS. We have the airport entry, exit, and you can see that all those airports, as I said before, are open. So do not worry about checking the weather there. They are open. The idea here is just to train your procedure, not to check whether you check carefully the weather or not. And finally, the rest with the track. You can see here the track. And the only difference here is the timing. So at the time of departure, right today, the NAT track is closed. So if you fly the VATSIM event and you are assigned a track, not a big deal. It's going to be the same. If we take, for example, here the track X-ray, it starts at entry point Nico, then you have your coordinates and you have the exit point here. You're going to have the levels that you can request right there. And what is important as well is the TMI, which is basically the serial day of the day, for the year. So 1st of January is number 1, 2nd of January is number 2. So today we are number 253 for the 18th of September, for the 8th of September, sorry. So that's the only thing you will have to check on the VATSIM day if you're assigned NAT track. That's it. And when we are doing a SELCAL check, make sure you use the assigned SELCAL received from VATSIM and not the one that is displayed on your cockpit. Okay, enough talking. Let's go ahead, request the clearance. And then, as I said, feel free to jump with the chapters if you want to go specific, if you want to go to a specific part. All right, let's go in the cockpit. All right, let's see. The aircraft is ready. We are going to do the pushback, and then I'll see you at the holding point. So let's request the clearance. All ATC is simulated by FSiPanel. So I have the correct frequency right there. So let me call for start. We have information Charlie. ATIS is always available on 12345 with FSiPanel. So this is where you can get departure and arrival ATIS. All right, so let's go ahead. Kennedy delivery, good morning, American 142, stand Bravo 47, ready for push and start, and request ATC clearance to London Heathrow. Information Charlie.
American 142, you're clear to London Heathrow, runway 31 left, scores 5 departure, Yankee transition as fired, climb and maintain 5,000 feet, squawk 4215 and departure control on 135.9er.
Roger, clear London Heathrow, 31 left, course 5 departure, Yankee transition as filed, climb and maintain 5,000 feet, squawk 4215 and departure on 135.9er, American 142 heavy.
American 142, readback is correct. Contact American ramp on frequency 129.2 when ready for pushback.
Roger, will contact ramp 129.2. Have a good day, American 142. All right, so the clearance, as I said before, FSiPanel has set everything for you. So if you go to route page number 2, you can see the scores 5 Yankee transition. We've got 5,000 feet, and the squawk, you have to set it by yourself, 4215. And now we are ready for push. So let's go.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Roger, taxi up and hold short of taxiway Alpha, Tango Alpha, and ground 1219er, American 142. Bye-bye. All right, left side is clear, right side is clear, taxi lights are on. Let's go taxi. Here we have a short taxi just in front, and we have to contact the ground. 1219er. 219, here we go. Ground morning, American 142 Heavy, approaching exit Tango Alpha.
American 142 Heavy, Kennedy ground below. Turn left on Bravo and hold short of Kilo.
Left on Bravo, hold short of Kilo, American 142 Heavy. All right, guys. So here, when you do that, one thing, make sure you take Bravo. Bravo is the second to the left. So if we look from here, you're going to have Alpha, first one here, and this is Bravo. So make sure you go on the second one, which is Bravo, and turn left for your taxi. So see you later. I'm going to the runway. All right, we're on taxiway Bravo, and we have been instructed to hold short of Kilo. So make sure you're going to Kilo to get the next instruction. Kilo is the one at the end right there. You have Kilo Golf, Kilo Fox, and so on, but Kilo is the one at the end here. So just taxi your airplane, and you should get the next instruction. So just continue forward. Make sure you're on Bravo, and ATC will contact you very soon. So let's see that happening now. You can see Kilo Delta, and basically that is Kilo right there.
American 142 Heavy, cross to the right, Sat Juliet 10 0 short of Zulu. Monitor tower, 109.1 on the other side.
Roger, cross runway 22 right at the Juliet, hold short of Zulu, and monitor tower 119.1 on the other side, American 142. So this is Juliet, so I'm clear to cross. Let's put some light here as we are crossing, and we need to monitor tower on the other side. So do not contact, but monitor, right? So we might expect an intersection takeoff in Kennedy. Left side is clear, right side is clear, crossing the runway. We could put the strobe as well if needed, especially at night. Now we are just crossing with the landing lights. And as soon as you cross the runway, monitor the tower frequency. So we are officially out of the runway when we cross that line here. So I'm just going to reduce my speed, and right now I will go ahead and 19.1. And in the same time, I can turn off my taxi light, my landing light.
American 142 Heavy Tower, can you accept an intersection takeoff from Yankee?
Yankee is that the one to the right here, and the performance have been computed, so I will just say yes. So here you have to click on the screen when you have multiple choice. So I'll just click on affirm American 142, and you don't need to use push to tow when you have.
Thank you, American 142
options.
Heavy, line up and wait, turn away 31 left at intersection Yankee.
Roger, line up and wait, 31 left at Yankee, American 142 Heavy. All right, so we have been cleared via Yankee. Line up and wait already. So let's go ahead and line up the runway, and we are off to London Heathrow. Runway 31 left, Yankee identified. Line up procedures. I will put the lights on already. Strobe light on. Transponder on, and cabin crew, take your seat for takeoff. Here we go. Runway 31 left identified. LNAV, VNAV, and we have a correct runway on our map display.
American 142 Heavy, clear for takeoff, 31 left, wind 27014 knots.
Clear for takeoff, 31 left, American 142 Heavy. Clear for takeoff, lights are on, let's go, takeoff. 55% N1. Stable. Thrust ref, set thrust. Thrust set, checked, Hold. Gear up. LNAV. Autopilot. LNAV, VNAV speed, thrust ref. Here we go. (1,000 feet, starting to accelerate. Speed check. Flaps 1. Follow the heading bug. Bug 1, trend vectors toward up, speed check, flaps up. Flaps are up after takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist completed.
American 142 LE, contact Kennedy departure 135.9.
135.9 American 142 heavy boy. Okay, 135.9. Normally the first officer will switch the frequency for me. Here we go. Departure American 142 heavy, morning 3,300, climbing 5,000.
American 142 heavy, morning, radar contact, climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet, American 142 heavy. All right, 5,000. Here we go, 1,000 to level off. And Yankee, then it says that we can expect some vectors. So we should get vectors approaching Yankee. If not, I will just call ATC. VNAV alt, 5,000 feet. Light can go off. Taxi light. And we are just waiting for ATC to give us the next instruction, and then I will move forward, as this initial part is the same as all the other training scenario. Just follow ATC instructions, and then we will see each other once we are close to the Atlantic.
American 142 heavy, turn left heading 0900 and climb and maintain 9,000 feet.
Roger, left heading 0900 and climb and maintain 9,000 feet, American 142 heavy. 9,000, VNAV speed, heading cell 090. All right, guys, I see you in a couple of hours. I will pause the video. Well, you will see yourself right away at the next interesting position of this flight. See you. All right, we are approaching our cruising level, the initial cruising level, which is flight level 330. So what you missed is almost nothing. I switch off the lights, I switch off the seat belt to auto and no electronic to auto. And we can do something else. You can see that we had force GFK before in our radio navigation page. So this is not required anymore to have GFK. So we are just going to delete those input so that the FMC can take whatever it feels necessary for its own navigation. So now you can see that the VOR in front of us has been tuned by the system, and that's very nice. We have been clear direct to Putman VOR, and so approaching our cruising altitude, we have VNAV path, speed VNAV path, and why 330? Because if we go to VNAV cruise, we can see that the optimum is 346, but we haven't been cleared yet. Our cleared level is 330 and maximum is 358, so we will see that a little bit later. All right, so we can do our first fuel check now. So we are approaching Putman, which is right there, and we can see that the fuel on board should be 106.8. So let's have a quick look here what we have. 112, and if I look into my FMC 111, so we are good on fuel. So that's good. We could do a cruise brief. I'm not going to do it here, but here what we will basically look is the aircraft system, where we can divert now if we have any malfunction, and we check our pressurization on that aircraft. We will get some cautions if we have any problems. So it's not really important, but it's good habit to check all your systems once you reach your cruise altitude. And we check that we have the correct radio, so we are monitoring GUARD 1215 and we are on the correct frequency. All right, so I'll see you later on when we are with Moncton, ready to contact Gander for our Oceanic clearance. All right, we are with Moncton Center right now when we are approaching Gander airspace. So very soon we will get transfer to Gander. So everything is good in the cockpit here. We're expecting a frequency change anytime soon. And you can see our entry point RECAL is already showing here in front of us at around 490 miles. So right now we still have VHF coverage. Everything is fine. And we're expecting to be transferred to Gander. And now, just after that, we will start to think about our Oceanic procedure, entry point, speeds, and cruising level that we can achieve in order to request our
American
clearance.
142 Heavy contact Gander Center, frequency 133.9er.
Gander 133.9er, American 142 Heavy, bye-bye. Okay, 1339er. There we go. Gander, good morning, American 142 Heavy, flight level 330.
American 142 Heavy Gander, hello, say estimate for RECAL.
Okay, so we have to give estimates. So as RECAL is in front of us, it's very easy, 1552 or 1553. If it's not the first waypoint, if ATC asks you for another waypoint, just go to Lex page, route data, and you can get the timing right there. American 142 Heavy, estimate RECAL 1553.
Roger, American 142, maintain flight level 330.
Maintain flight level 330, American 142 Heavy. All right, here we go. I see you a little bit closer to the entry point where you will see some tips coming from FSiPanel, and then we are going to request our Oceanic clearance together. All right, continuing our flight now. We are 1 hour 30 minutes into the flight and we are getting close to RECAL. RECAL is the entry point. As you can see, we reported 1553. Right now is 1513. So normally 45 minutes to 15 minutes before entry point, we can request our Oceanic clearance, and VATSIM requests you to do so 30 minutes before. So almost ready to do it. So now we will get a tip from FSiPanel that will come very soon, and that will tell you that you need to request your Oceanic clearance. So when you get the tip, check your monitor if you have multiple monitors to make sure you're not missing the window, and you should then be able to fill and request your Oceanic clearance. So let's see happening that. Let's see that happening. Now we got the ding dong ding dong. And we've got a tip on our screen. You can see there, you're about to enter 30 minutes from your entry point. RECAL, you should now get your Oceanic clearance. Check FSiPanel Oceanic clearance form in a few seconds. So you just need to click here to acknowledge. And once you've done that, then we should have the Oceanic clearance page right there on the screen. If it's not shown on your screen, check on another screen and you should have it. So now this is what you have to do up to 30 minutes before entry point. So RECAL 1552, so 1522. In around 5 minutes, we could send our request or clearance request to Gander as per VATSIM instruction. So here, it's exactly what a NAT track will show in the VATSIM form. So basically, you get the same information to enter with a little difference. If you have NAT track, instead of not random routing, you will just put your NAT track there, and you will put your TIM that I talked before in the description in the first part of the video. That's the only difference. Basically, you fly exactly the same thing. So on that form, it's very important that you fill everything correctly. If you do a mistake, you will not get your clearance. So let's do it together here. Call sign, very straightforward. We need to enter American Airlines 142. Destination, this is gonna be Echo Golf Lima Lima. Requested flight level. All right, so now we need to check our requested flight level. So let's have a look there. If we go to VNAV, cruise, you can see that the optimum is 350, 353, maximum is 365. So recommended 350. Right now we are 330. So what I will do myself, I will request 350 right now and 360 as maximum. That's good. You could even request 360, but I would not set 370 as maximum, because if they get you 370 at the entry point, you will not be able to do it. So here, for the training purposes, what we're going to do, we request 350 as flight level, maximum 360. So let's do that here. And again, make sure you enter it correctly. So delete that. And it's going to be requesting flight level 350. And the maximum I can go, I will just put flight level 360. Requested Mach number. All right. Right now we are flying at Mach 822. So let's put Mach 82. We want to be conservative. Or Mach 83. That's a good speed. Let's put Mach 83. So format is 0.83. Inserted. And now we have to put our routing. Okay, so for that, I'm going to copy paste my routing from the briefing. So this is my briefing. I have my ATC route right there. This is the routing that we want to put up to Moglo. So copy, and I'm going to paste that right there. Here we go. Entry fix. This is going to be recal. So here, let's do a mistake. Let's enter here Moglo. I do a mistake. And now, estimate time. Let's do another mistake. Let's put 1635. 1635. And now I'm going to send my clearance. So I click on set clearance request. And now the clearance has been sent to a Gander. So let's see what happened now. We wait between 20 seconds and 1 minute and see if we get any reply from our data link. Do not close that window until you have a clearance. That's very important. Once you have your clearance, feel free to copy it in your clipboard and save it somewhere. And then you can keep the form open or close it. Up to you, but do not close it before you get the clearance. Otherwise, you will not get your clearance. That's very important. Okay, you see that we get an invalid entry point Moglo ATA out of range. So we don't get the clearance. So let's correct that and put recal. Recal, and we are estimating 1552. Here we go, 1552, recal, send the clearance. Again, second time. And this time we should get our clearance. With VATSIM, make sure you do it 30 minutes before entry. Not earlier, you can try, but you'll probably get rejected. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Now we hope to get a clearance. Ding dong, something is coming on the CPDLC. Here we go. We've got the clearance. Perfect. So we have got the clearance from 1519, and it's American Airlines 142, clear to Echo Golf Lima Lima via recal, which is the entry point. We have random route, and then we have recal coordinates Etari Moglo. From recal 1552, maintain flight level 350. That's perfect. We got our clearance. And we're going to have to fly Mach 84 instead of Mach 83. So this is something we need to change. So now, guys, it's very important to check that the routing here is the one we filled. So let me bring our flight plan, because FSiPanel, for training purposes, can change the routing. So we have recal 5350 north. That's correct. 5640 north. That's correct. 5630 north. That's correct. 5620 north. Correct. Etari Moglo. Perfect. We are lucky for that. We have the same routing. If you don't have the same routing, update your FMC. Make sure you check then that you have the correct, you're flying your clearance. Then what we need to do is enter into our FMC flight level 350 as a step climb, because we have to be at flight level 350 at the entry point, and we're going to have to fly Mach 84. So let's do that together now. What we will do, next page, we have RECAL, and I will put here /.840 / flight level 350 step climb. Invalid entry. All right, so let's try. Yeah, okay, I see why. Sorry, my mistake. Let's start with the flight level 350S. That should work. Execute, and I will put .840. How does she want it? 840 / maybe. There we go. 0.840 / flight level 350 step climb. And that's about it. Now the aircraft will fly the correct speed from RECAL, and we will need to climb flight level 350. So you can see the step climb on the screen now. All right, so now we have our entry point, we have our clearance, we are good to continue. And once we get close to the entry point, I will show you more things to do. We will talk a little bit about ETOPS, but again, I will not do a full briefing about ETOPS or contingency procedures. I will let Captain Jeff FatherTime do that. He crossed the Atlantic on that particular aircraft so many times that he will be able to give you the perfect briefing you need in case you have an emergency over the Atlantic. So right now we are still around 25 minutes before the entry point. So I see you in a couple of minutes. All right, we are still flight level 330 and we are slowly but surely approaching our entry point now, around 40 miles to go before the entry point. It's about a good time to do a fuel check. So let's do a quick fuel check here. So at RECAL, we should have 78.7 on board. And right now we are expecting at RECAL, if I go prox page, we are expecting 80.7. So we are good on the fuel. And as you are approaching the entry point, we're gonna get probably a call from ATC telling us to contact Gander for a SELCAL check. So we'll see that happening now. Remember that by the entry point, which in our case is RECAL, we should be at flight level 350 to meet our clearance, Oceanic clearance, and we should fly Mach 84.
American 142, you're released to climb to your assigned flight level and contact now Gander Oceanic on 133.5 with your set code ident. Have a safe flight.
Roger, American 142, clear to climb to assigned flight level 350, and we contact Gander Oceanic on 133.5. Bye with the SELCAL. Okay, 133.5, so that frequency will be given to you by VATSIM, and now we are clear to climb, so I'm going to set 350 and push the button. We are on VNAV speed thrust ref. Okay, so now SELCAL. You have been given a SELCAL here on the aircraft, but make sure you use the SELCAL that VATSIM gave you. On the briefing package that you will get, you will probably get your SELCAL, which is your personal SELCAL, so do not use that one, but use the one that has been given to you by VATSIM. All right, so I'm going to call Gander and see what happened. Gander, good morning, American 142 heavy, flight level 335, climbing 350, entry via RECAL at 1552. CPDLC logged on, and our SELCAL today is Alpha Hotel Echo Quebec.
American 142 Gander, Roger. Entry via RECAL and standby for SELCAL check.
Okay, so now you have to read back something here. So just read back Roger standing by for SELCAL check. So I'll do that now. Roger standing by for SELCAL check, American 142. And now we're expecting the SELCAL simulation by FSiPanel. So just wait and see what happened. Right, so we heard the SELCAL tune there and the ding-dong from the 777. And on the screen, you get this confirm now to Gander that you have received the SELCAL. Okay, so it means we are all good to go. Maybe with VATSIM, you will get the SELCAL. I'm not sure what's happening there, but the idea is to check that and then reply that the SELCAL check has been received. American 142 SELCAL check received.
Roger, American 142. Monitor en route frequencies and expect Shanwick frequency approaching 30 west.
Roger, we monitor the en route frequencies and expect a frequency via CPDLC approaching 30 west, American 142. Bye-bye. All right, basically that's it. Now we are on our own. You can see that we are not receiving any VOR, so I will just remove the VOR from here. That's it. We are approaching the entry points, 350. Then the aircraft should accelerate to Mach 84. We will see that in a couple of seconds. And we need to monitor the en route frequency. So basically now, 21.5 is a good frequency to have on COM1. Guard, so you will hear any aircraft having an emergency, or you can yourself declare an emergency quickly if you have something there. And on NAV2, it's advisable to go to 12345. This is the Unicom frequency over Oceanic most of the time. So you can use that to report turbulence to other traffic, to request some information. So it's a good communication. You could say all traffic, this is American 142. At position so-and-so, we are experiencing light to moderate turbulences and so on. Or you can request other aircraft to give you information. Anybody flying on that track Delta today, 30 west or 40 west, any turbulence. And then you might get other pilots telling you how is the weather conditions on your route. So it's quite nice to have that frequency dialed in. Okay, we are entering the Oceanic now. Our aircraft capability is good, and the next thing we will do here is we are going to get a tip from FSiPanel in a couple of seconds, and you will see what you have to do. In the Oceanic, clear here, we need the slope. Remember I was mentioning the slope in the briefing before. So basically we need to go right of this track up to 2 miles, and we should go to the right only. The slope is only to the right. Why do we go 2 miles and not 4 or 5 miles? Because we have this contingency procedures 5 miles. So we want to be in between. So these 2 miles is quite important. And FSiPanel will remind you. So don't worry if you forgot about it. You can see that now the aircraft is flying 84. FSiPanel will remind you of what to do. So that is coming as a tip. So that's a ding-dong, and then you're going to have the message on top reminding you that you should put a slope offset. Okay, we have the ding-dong, and here's the tip. You are now in Oceanic airspace. You should apply slope up to 2 nautical miles to the right. FMC route page 1, offset N3. So on the 777, you can go R1 or R2, 1 mile or 2 mile. So click here to acknowledge. So just click here to acknowledge. Now route page, offset, you can see it right there. And I'm going to put right 2 miles. Offset, execute. And the aircraft is going, as you can see, on the offset. So we are applying the slope procedure right now. Remember that the slope will be applied for the whole routing. So if you get a direct 2 at some point, that will automatically cancel your slope. So that's something to know. And latest at the exit point, make sure you cancel the slope as well there, because then ATC will not expect you to have an offset once you're under radar contact. All right. So now the aircraft, as you can see, is turning nicely and will go on a 2 miles right offset track here over the Atlantic. All right, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes, and we will see the next thing. Before I do that, I will just show you the ETOPS now. We have ETOPS information. Let me show you that. I will bring the flight plan. Here we go. And under the ETOPS segment, we have the entry points, the ETP and the exit point. So entry point is Gander Airport. It's based on Gander Airport, sorry, and the exit point is based on, this is Iceland, Akureyri Airport. In between, we have the equal time point. So here, normally, you will use fix info, but you will not put any point in your flight plan. You could create pilot's waypoint and have it in your flight plan, but as the aircraft is sending information to ATC in our days, it might confuse everything. So here, the entry point is basically Charlie Yankee Quebec X-ray, and the distance, you can see it right there, 448. So what I will do here, I will go on the fix page, and I will enter the airport, the reference, which is Charlie Yankee Quebec X-ray, and I will put a distance, so a slash 448 miles. Here we go. So now this is my ETOPS entry points right there. Then we have the exit point, which is based on BIAR and distance 584. So let's do that as well. So we are going to go next page, BIAR, and I'm going to put the distance of 584. So that's my exit point. So now if I go into plan page and I go step by step over the Atlantic, let me go back to legs page 1 so we can see better. This is the entry, and this is my exit that will cross over there. In the between here, we are going to have our equal time point. So basically any failure you have before the ETP, you will go back to Gander. Any failure you have after ETP, you will go to Iceland. So now we need to define the ETP point. So let's do that as well. Let's go back into map for now, and we are going to define the ETP. So I'll show you another way you can do that as well in the fixed page. The ETP is defined here as a coordinate. So we can enter these coordinates into the FMC in the fixed page. So let's do that. So go fixed page again, and we are going to use number 3. And now I'm going to enter exactly what it says here. North 5602.1 and west 03902.3. And here we go. So now if I go again to my plan page, we can see that we have this nice ETP now depicted in our map display. So if we do this way, we are not going to interfere with any ADSB sent to ATC, so via CPDLC, so that doesn't give any issue on our routing. So we know entry point, we know ETP, and we know exit point. So ETOPS, guys, is another topics. You have to have the aircraft capable to do it. You have to have the fuel at the entry point, so make sure you have the correct fuel at the entry point, that you have every system working as per your MEL for ETOPS. And then once you entered any malfunctions that is required for ETOPS, basically you disregard, you're already inside, so you continue your route and all the way to the exit. And in between, then this is your decision. Do you go to Gander or do you go to Iceland? And remember, contingency, very basic here, what I'm going to tell you. Turn left or right. So let's say we are here and we have a malfunction. Then my airport where I want to go is to the left. So I will go heading to the left, 5 miles parallel track, and then call ATC by any means I have, CPDLC, HF, VHF, other aircraft, to get a clearance. And when I get the clearance, fly direct to whatever to land in Iceland. I will comply. As well, once you establish on the track here, 5 miles parallel track, you should descend or climb by 500 feet. So basically I should go 34.5, 34 flight level 345 or flight level 355 to make sure if a traffic is doing the same in the opposite, then we are not into we don't have a problem, okay? So I'm not going to go into details. This is just a basic thing. Captain FatherTime will probably give you a very, very nice briefing on that in one of his video. All right, so next thing, now you're crossing the Atlantic. Make sure you check your fuel point, your fuel checks every time you cross a 10th of coordinate here, so 5350 north. We are going to do a fuel check, and then approaching 30 west, we should get a CPDLC for a SELCAL check, and then we will see that. So I'll see you later. We are now 2 hours and 20 into the flight. All right, we're about 25 to 30 minutes after our entry points. I just checked my fuel at 5350 north west. Sorry, we are good, and we get another tip here. So you get a tip from FSiPanel again here. You should set your transponder to 2000 30 minutes after entry points. Okay, so this is a normal procedure expected by ATC, and FSiPanel is reminding you that you should do that. So we entered at 1522, so 1622. I should set my transponder code to 2000. So this is just a reminder for you to do it. So you will get that, just click acknowledge, and I see you at 30 west for the next instruction. All right, we are about 4 hours into the flight, and we are approaching 30 west. We can see that as well here on our AFB, nicely on track. So as we have been told before, we are expecting now a CPDLC anytime soon approaching that position to give us another frequency from VATSIM to do a SELCAL check. So this is what you can expect as well on Cross the Pond, most probably, if they implement any check midway here. And we hear the ding dong. And here we go. It's a CPDLC, American Airlines 142 data link message. Contact Shanwick 120350 for SELCAL check. Click here to acknowledge. All right, 120350. Sorry, getting tired on this long haul flight. Not enough coffee. 120350. So done by my first officer. And my SELCAL, remember, I'm not using that one here, but I'm using the one received by VATSIM. And let's call now Shanwick. Shanwick control American 142 heavy on 12035, approaching 530 west. ETA 1734, flight level 350, and next Shanwick. And SELCAL is Alpha.
American 142, Shanwick, rudder. Stand by for SELCAL check.
All right, again here we should stand by for SELCAL check, so I will just read back this. Roger, standing by for SELCAL check, American 142 heavy. And now we are expecting a SELCAL check as before.
This is Heathrow.
All right, you just heard the SELCAL. Confirm now to Shanwick that you have received a SELCAL. Read back. So we just need to read back that we have received a SELCAL check. American 142 SELCAL check received. And we
Roger,
the
American 142, monitor en route frequencies and expect a CPDLC message with Shannon frequency approaching exit point.
Roger, monitor en route frequencies and expect a CPDLC with Shannon frequency approaching exit point, American 142. All right, here we go. We are back on flying now, and as you can see, we passed already the ETP. So if something happened now on my ETOPS flight, sorry, I will proceed on the left toward BIAR, so left turn, and the exit point is quite close, so we are almost across the Atlantic here, halfway. So let's continue and see what happened when we reach Shannon. Another tip is coming. This is roughly 5 minutes after 30 west. Now we are getting that information from FSiPanel. Please change your weather preset to part 2 for the arrival in London. All right, so what we're going to have to do here, clear to acknowledge, go to your weather, and easy, you can see we are on part 1, and just go and select part 2. So that's the FSiPanel AAL142 part 2, and close the window here. That's it. Nothing will change in the wind, so the aircraft will remain perfectly stable, but the weather in London is not as good. We have showers of rain, and visibility is not, is like I think 6,000 meters. So yeah, that's for your IFR approach into London. All right, we are reaching East Coast. We are very close to Ireland now. We are around 4 hours and 45 minutes into the flight. As you can see, Ireland is in front of us. It's getting dark, so we're going to have to set our cockpit light now. And we are approaching the exit point. So as promised by the ATC, we should get a CPDLC message. Here it comes. CPDLC, American Airlines 142, squawk 3234 and contact Shannon 135230. So we have the squawk 3234 and contact Shannon 135230. So clear here to acknowledge. And we are going to contact now Shannon on the VHF. Shannon Control, good afternoon. American 142, flight level 350, approaching position Etari, ETA 1830, squawking 3234.
American 142, Channel hello, squawk 3234 and ident.
Roger, 3234 ident, American 142. Okay, so 3234 we have, so I'm just going to push ident. Okay, let's prepare that. We are going to put a little bit of light here in preparation for our approach. We don't need the fix anymore, so I'm going to remove my fix. We're out of ETOPS, and I will be able to set then the fix I need for my approach in London, if any. That's done. Fuel-wise, I checked everything. We are good. And remember that we will need to cancel the slope as well. So that is as well something that we should keep in mind. If we get a direct to by ATC, then that will be cancelled.
American 142, you're identified. Route direct revenue.
Direct to revenue, American 142. All right, so direct to revenue. So now you will see that the slope will be cancelled. So if I go direct to revenue, here we go. Execute. Then if I go to the route page 1, there is no offset, and we are now complying with ATC instructions. We are on VHF, so everything looks good. So now we need to make sure we have 1215 on COM2 and the active frequency on COM1, and we are back to what we are used to do, flying under ATC coverage. So here you cross the Atlantic, and now you can just concentrate. Another thing is coming. I just heard a ding-dong. Tip. With the direct routing to revenue, slope has ended. Remember to cancel any slope deviation. So this is another tip coming from FSiPanel. Just acknowledge. And now we can just concentrate for the rest of the flight to London and do a landing over there. So it's getting dark. What I will do here, because the aircraft is so beautiful, I want to make sure that people will see us on the arrival. And if somebody crossed the aircraft, they see it's American Airlines. So I'm just going to put the logo lights on. That's about it. I see you now for the approach. Here we expect just a descent and everything normal with Shannon, then London control, and then the arrival and the landing. So I will just see you on short final now for the landing.
Do you request higher?
Yeah, do we need higher? I just received that message here. I was about to see you at the landing, but I got that message. Do we request higher? So right now we could go up to 381. We offer 37 or 390. 390 is too high, but 370 is fine. So let's click on it, 370. So we need to click on the option. Affirm 370, and we don't need to read back.
Roger, American 142. Climb and maintain flight level 370.
Roger, climb and maintain 370, American 142. 370, ref, VNAV speed, off we go. All right, see you for the landing. All right, guys, we have started our descent, seatbelt sign on, we have the electronic on. I've done my approach briefing, I've set my minimum, and we are going down to flight level 150 with London control. One thing I want to make sure with you, if you check your performance for arrival, make sure that you enter here your weather from the flight plan, again from the lesson plan, not from the real
American
life.
142, contact approach 119.730, bye-bye.
Approach 119.730, American 142, bye-bye. Okay, approach 119.730, information mic. Approach, good evening, this is American 142, flight level 187, descending 150 to SOPIT with the information mic.
American 142, approach hello, descend via star flight level 70.
Descend via star level 70, American 142. Okay, 70 via star, so make sure you're in VNAV. And I'm just going to show you some information here. So I was telling you, if you calculate your performance like I just did here, do not take the weather, live weather, because you're going to be completely off. We are using a weather preset. So the weather you want to use is the weather you see in your lesson plan. So 27016, 18 degrees, 1016. Now for the arrival, right now we have been cleared on the star Nugro 1 hotel. So let me show you that. This is the star, and we can descend as via star. So you see we have a restriction here, flight level 150. So our aircraft has been cleared to 70, but at SOPIT, we have this restriction at flight level 150. So you have to make sure you comply with all altitude and speed restriction. So if you're in VNAV, this is not an issue. If you will descend in flight level change or in vertical speed, then make sure you comply with that. Here in VNAV, the aircraft will take care of it, and then it will continue the descent. We have been clear 70, so this is at Bovingdon, we should be at 70. And from there, you will be cleared with the Bovingdon transition, which goes all the way to final for runway 27 left. So if you get clear for the approach at Bovingdon, you can follow this transition all the way with speed restriction, altitude restriction, until you establish on final, and they will clear you for the approach, usually over there. All right, so we are going to do that now, and I'll see you just before touchdown. All right, here we go. We just break the clouds, arriving in London, descending on the Bovingdon transition. Altimeter 1016 has been set. And I wanted to wait for you to do the checklist. So we have the recall and the notes were done. The auto brake is 2 as per the performance. Landing data, we have VREF at 143. Let's check if that's still correct. I can update now to 141. Approach briefing was completed. Let's do the approach checklist. Altimeter, I've got 1016 on both sides, passing 49. Now approach checklist is complete. All right. Let's go flaps 5 now, and we will go
American
5.
142, contact tower 118.705.
Tower 118705, American 142, bye-bye. Beautiful view on London. 119705, 118705. Tower hello, American 142 with you.
American 142, tower hello, continue approach, speed 180 knots to 6 miles.
Continue approach, speed 180.6, American 142. All right, continue approach. Beautiful, look at that. Let's see what the passenger will see now. They just crossed the Atlantic. Beautiful view on London. We are arriving now. Excellent. All right, let's concentrate on this approach so that we don't screw it up at the very last bit of it. 180 to 6 they want. The VNav is doing a perfect job, as you can see, with the lateral navigation and lateral we are about to intercept. Vertical navigation, perfect. So we are clear for the approach. I will arm the approach, and we have lock and glide slope armed. 1000 to level off. Localizer is captured. What is the missed approach altitude on this approach? Let's see that. 27 left we are going. So climb straight when passing 1080, climbing left turn to 2000 feet, 2000 feet. All right, so 2000. 180 to 6 miles, we're established. Glide slope is alive. We are about to get the glide slope now. And as you can see, the weather is not as good as in New York before when we departed. Typical London, no problem. So glide slope. I could go vertical speed to make to go on the glide slope easier, but it works as well. You can see that the aircraft will capture 2500 anyway, and the glide slope is armed, so it should be anytime soon now. And glide slope captured. Missed approach altitude 2000 feet set. Great. 6 miles. We have to comply with that. So at around 7 miles or 6.5 miles, I will go gear down flaps 20, as the speed is good for flaps 20. All right, let's go gear down. Flaps 20.
American 142, wind 270 degrees at 15 knots. Runway 27 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, 27 left, American 142. All right, clear to land. We pass 6 miles now, bug 20. I set my taxi light on. I arm the speed brake. And I went flaps 20, gear down flaps 20. Now speed is checked, flaps 30, V approach. 141 plus 6, plus 5, that's 146. If we have a quick look on prog page 2, we can see the headwind, 18 knots. That seems to be correct. So we take half of it. So let's say that's going to be about 8 knots, 8 to 9 knots extra that I should put on my speed. So if my VRF is 141, so I'll take 149 to cover the wind. Okay, let's do landing checklist. Land 3 flare armed, and landing checklist completed. Okay, minimum is 277. We are fully stabilized already. Missed approach altitude is set, and now we hope to see the runway at minimum and do the landing on runway 27 left. See, the flight time for this scenario is around 6 hours and 5 minutes until landing. We had very nice tailwind, so I hope you will like it, and I'm hoping to receive a lot of feedback on this one to let me know if you want other transatlantic flight, eastbound, westbound. We can play with that. 1000 feet stabilized. Continue. Let's hope we can see now some rain. Temperature is 20 degrees right now, so no need of anti-ice. Let's hope that we can see the approach lights at minimum. We have these rain showers. Approach light in sight. So I will probably disconnect at around 300 feet. Checked. Checked. Continue. Autopilot comes off. Landing.
100.
Now we want to cross the threshold at 50 feet.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse as normal. We'll take the second to the right. I don't want to have a heavy brake here. Manual braking. Auto brake is disarmed. 60 knots. Out of reverse.
American 142, vacate right. And turn right on Bravo taxiway, contact ground. 121 decimal 9005.
Roger, vacate right. Right on Bravo. 121 9005. American 142 Heavy. Alright, so we vacated the runway. Second to the right will be Bravo. That's something you should study as well before landing. Otherwise, we can get quickly coached there. So we are going to take Bravo and we contact the ground 121 9005.